everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask the Editor. My name is Janelle, and I'm a fiction editor. I've been writing for more than 30 years and editing for more than 20. In that time, I've worked in both publishing houses and as an independent publishing professional, also known as a freelance editor. I'm also an indie author who writes both fiction and nonfiction. So in these videos, I want to bring all that experience to bear in answering your questions and other just common questions about writing, editing, and self-publishing. If you happen to have a question, feel free to leave it in the comments below or contact me via my website, which is speculationsediting.com. I'll leave that information below in the video description along with any other resources I mention in this video. So the question for today, given that National Novel Writing Month starts in just 2 days, is how can you win NaNoWriMo? Or how can I win NaNoWriMo? I am planning on doing it this year for the second year in a row, and I have a lot of friends who have done it for like 15 years, so it can be done. Although about this time last year I was wondering if I was crazy, because it's about the time I decided to do it 2 days before. So I discovered some secrets along the way, both from people I know and through my experience of doing NaNoWriMo myself. The first thing you need, obviously, is discipline. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be crazy about it. It just means you need to know how much you need to write and how you can get that done. So to win NaNoWriMo, you have to write a novel, which doesn't mean a complete novel, actually. It just means 50,000 words. Just 50,000 words. That seems like a lot, right? In only 30 days. But if you break it down, that's an average of 1,667 words a day. And if you add in maybe dictation, that's not so much. If you can sit down for an hour or two, you could probably bust it out. So what you need to do is figure out the best time of day that you can cut out distractions and just get that work done. No distractions. Turn off the internet. Do it when your kids are asleep or when your other distractions are at minimum. I know some people like to work on their lunch hour or on the train, So figure out when the best time of day is for you. Like for me last year, it was early in the morning. Now this year, it may be late at night because we have all kinds of things going on. But find out what works for you and then make that time sacred. So that's part of discipline. Another part is to write a little extra every day. So you have to get in that 1,667 words, right? Well, have your counter up, whether you're using the counter at the bottom of Microsoft Word or your little goal target thing in Scrivener, and wait until you get to that 1,667 words. And once you do, keep going at least until you finish the scene you're working on or the chapter. And also write a little bit, some breadcrumbs to pick up on the next day, like maybe the first sentence of the next scene you're going to write. And that way, not only will it be easier to get started the next day, but you will have gotten a few extra words in, and those will really help when you, either you're just not feeling it one day and have trouble getting all your words in, or you get sick and you have to skip a whole day. Do remember, if you skip, try not to skip just because you're feeling uninspired. Get the words in, even if they're not that great. Because if you skip one day, then the next day you've got twice as many words to write. And if you skip another day, then 3 times, and pretty soon it's really hard to catch back up, and a lot of people quit. My plan, personally, is to write 2,000 words a day, and that way, if I have a bad day where I can't get very many in, then I'll have a little extra leeway there. We'll see how it goes, though. But also resist the urge to compete with other writers, because I have people I know who will write lightning fast and be done by day 10. It's to me that's crazy, but that's just the way they work, and maybe they don't have distractions like 3 kids running around and having to go to play practice and extracurriculars and things like that, whereas each of us has different things in their life, and of course their work. I'm also editing and formatting this month for other people, so I've got to get all that in. So resist the urge. There will also be people who peter out and give up after a few days, and they might be your writing buddies, so give them some support, but don't make that your reason for quitting. Okay, next to discipline, I would recommend using a predetermined structure to help you win Nano, because one of the big things that happens is people get stuck in the middle, because the middle is hard to write usually for most writers. You know, you've got an exciting beginning and an exciting end, and then all this space in the middle trying to get you there. I have recently a guest post on my blog about getting through the middle, and I'll leave a link to that below. But the best thing you can do is spend some time outlining before Nano. Now, if you're just deciding to do it, you may not have time to make up an outline. It does help to have one. This year I have one. Last year I didn't. So last year I just picked a common story structure, which was the hero's journey, but there are others. Like if you're writing romance, Gwen Hayes in her little book, it's a short book and easy to breeze through in a couple hours, but it's called Romancing the Beat, and she's got a perfect story structure for romance novels in there, so that if that's your cup of tea, if that's what you're writing this year, check it out. Also there's Save the Cat and the 3-act story structure. I'll leave some links below, but sometimes you can use those as a guide to know what you need to write next, even if you haven't written an outline. And I went solely on the hero structure and an idea last year, and I managed to make it, and that novel is now almost done with revisions, and it'll be out early next year, so it can be done. So outline if you can, but use the story structure if you can't to get you through. And if that doesn't work, just spend an hour every few days kind of jotting down what you're going to write for the next few days. You know, just like spend that little time outlining during Nano instead of before. And the last and biggest thing you can have to help you succeed in Nano is finding support. There are all kinds of online and in-person support groups for Nano. You wouldn't believe how many people are doing it. You can go to Facebook and search NaNoWriMo in the groups. There are lots. Some of will be in your area even, so there are people you can meet up with and do writing sprints. Now, I tend to do mine at home because I live in a small town and it takes me 45 minutes to drive to the nearest write-in, and that's an hour and a half of my day gone, and usually I'm so busy that, you know, I save that for when I'm just going to have fun. But I get a lot of support online, which is really great. So I will leave some links below. Again, there's also the NaNoWriMo forums, and there's all Twitter has a bunch of people doing Nano as well, and so there are places you can check in. I recommend after you finish writing for the day, because it's easy to get caught up in chat and not get your words in. But this is where you can check in and say, oh, look, I got my words in today, or I didn't, and help me out here and give me some support. And it can really, finding a writing community anytime during the year is great, but during Nano, it's even more essential, because, you know, you're not just sitting there alone, plotting, you know, trying to get all these words in and wondering if they're going to be any good. And it's okay if they're not. That's just it. Don't back up. Don't keep editing. And most people recommend not editing at all during Nano, because you'll have more time to get words in, because you've got all the time in the world afterwards to edit this and polish it up and make it shine. Now with my schedule, like I said, it was the book I wrote for Nano won't even be out until March or so of next year. So that's about a year and a half later, because we all have lives and some people write and edit faster than others. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. So, you know, have discipline, find support, use a story structure. Those are all good tips, and if you have some work, leave them in the comments. Let us know what you do to help you win NaNoWriMo. In the meantime, see the resources below, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.